Kosovo and Metohia, a land where pain blooms and the vow never withers. Every nation has a place that is more than a dot on a map. It is where the soul of a people breathes through drops of blood and tears, where the wind carries prayers, and where silence rings louder than any bell. For Serbs, that place is Kosovo and Metohia, sacred ground that is not only myth, but destiny. A cross and a crown, a wreath of suffering and a wreath of glory. Kosovo is not a matter of territory, it is a matter of identity, a matter of memory. And when people forget, they vanish. Where history is not read, but breathed. In Kosovo, history is not something in a textbook. It's in the dust of Gazimestan, in the weeds around Serbian graves, in the cold walls of Visoki Dečani. There, Serbs stopped counting centuries and started counting vows. When Prince Lazar chose the Heavenly Kingdom in 1389, it was not a political act. It was an act of faith. To die for something unseen, but deeply felt. To lose a battle, yet gain a soul. The Serbs did not win at Kosovo, but there they became a nation. From defeat, the awareness was born that life is not worth living if it's lived on one's knees. From that day on, Kosovo was no longer just land. It became a mirror in which honor is measured. Monasteries as keepers of eternity. Metohia is a place where churches are not just sanctuaries, they are fortresses of the soul. Visoki Dečani, a labyrinth of light where the beacons of the past still burn. The Patriarchate of Peć, a mother still feeding her children with spiritual milk. Gračanica, a bride still waiting for the return of her people. These churches were not built to last 100 years, but to endure even when everything else falls. That is why they are always under attack. What cannot be conquered from the outside, they try to burn from within. A ghetto in the 21st century. Today, Serbs in Kosovo and Metohia live as shadows of their own history, strangers in their own state, tenants in their own homes. Children walk to school under the watch of soldiers. Pensioners light candles for both the dead and the living. Every step outside is a risk. Every word in Serbian a potential target. In the heart of Europe, in the 21st century, there exists a ghetto no one dares to name. And the world? It remains silent, because the truth is uncomfortable. And Kosovo has become a political project, not a human tragedy. The Yellow House, a silence that screams. There are crimes in this world, but then there are sins that go beyond humanity. The Yellow House, a place in northern Albania where, according to testimony, organs were taken from living Serbs, living people. The Yellow House, a place in northern Albania where, according to testimony, organs were taken from living Serbs, living people. People whose names are no longer spoken, but whose screams still echo in the walls of that house. And again, the world was silent. As it was silent in 2004, when churches were burnt in a single day, homes destroyed, Serbs expelled. As it is silent every time Serbian children are stoned for speaking their mother tongue. When justice falls silent, it begins to smell like corpses. Politics and the act of forgetting. Politics and the art of forgetting. For the last 30 years, the Serbian political scene has turned Kosovo into a slogan. Some swore oaths, others signed agreements. Some withdrew, others fought, quote-unquote. But in truth, all gradually gave away what should never be surrendered in words. And then came a time when nothing had to be signed, because everything had already been surrendered. The Serbian dinar was abolished. Courts, police, institutions, all absorbed into the system of a self-proclaimed state. Serbs in Kosovo no longer live in Serbia, only in the memory of it. One government after another has used Kosovo as a bargaining chip, a tool to stay in power, but never as efficiently, as subtly, and as definitely as now. Because the greatest betrayal is not in the signature, it's in convincing the people that there is nothing left worth defending. And then, the youth. Just when all hopes seemed lost, when myths were declared obsolete and ideals mocked, the students appeared. Not as an army, not as a party. They don't carry weapons, but truth. They don't march for politics, but for justice. Scorned by elites, ridiculed in the media, portrayed as a backwards remnant of a dark Balkan past. Yet they're the ones who live what is called the Kosovo vow. They live it by refusing to accept injustice. by resisting amnesia, by thirsting for truth, by loving something greater than themselves. These students don't live in illusion. They know where the power is, who holds the keys. But because they have nothing but honor, their vow is worth more than 1,000 treaties. An ending that is not the end. As long as there are those who remember, who refuse, who speak, who do not live in lies, Kosovo is not lost. As long as there's a single student in any Serbian city who weeps over the fate of a land he has never seen, but feels like a mother, Kosovo lives. A vow is not measured by a sword, but by truth. It is not defined by politics, but by the heart. And precisely because no one takes them seriously, because no one offers them anything, they are the closest to those warriors in Kosovo, who went to battle not to win, but not to be ashamed. Written by Nada Gladovic.